Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Albers. Welcome here to Butterbees and Friday Night Lights. Very excited to be bringing you. Can everybody hear me out there? Everybody here? All right, we're very excited. Again, that last audio clip that we had playing was from my partner here, Greg Ellis. We started broadcasting 25 years ago, so that last call that you heard was from Greg saying he bid you welcome. So we've been doing this for 25 years, so we're pretty excited to be our first time here at Butterbees. We want to thank Evan for pulling us off for us and getting us here. And all these games that we first did were back in the day when Bill Ellis started this 25 years ago, and we had to do games. We had to do an Anderson Turbin McNick game, and we had to choose a game of the week, and we were the only crew that stayed all year long, and Turpin and McNick got rid of their crews, and we've stayed here the longest. So pretty happy to be joining us. Unbelievable crowd, guys. Thanks for coming. And Greg, it's really unbelievable that we've been doing this for 25 years.
25 years we've been doing this, and every year we look forward to being at the games every Friday night. And, pretty much the same guys are helping us every Friday for the last 25 years. The same stat man, Steve Martin.
Yeah.
You can say stat man.
Stat man.
My spotter, Ed Barth. We had cameramen like Tim Huntington, and of course I started this with Brad, my brother Brad. But my dad got us into this. Bill Ellis got us into this 25 years ago, and after a while, Brad left, and now he does stats for the Bengals and for UC Bearcats. That's when Dan started broadcasting with me, and we just look forward to it every year.
Yeah, it's everybody here now. You can only hear me or not Greg. You can't hear Greg? Okay, that's not good.
My part's not important, so.
All right, well, again, we're really happy that everybody's here. Is that a little too loud, or is that good? Everybody here? All right. So, again, we're just really happy to be here. Big things, obviously. We got a big crowd here tonight, and got a couple questions here. We want to welcome Coach Evan Dreyer. Coach, thanks for joining us.
It's awesome to be here. I'm really excited about 2016 and getting it started. Great group of kids that we got, and what I walked into was a great group of kids that I really, truly care about.
Very good. Coach, tell us a little bit about the path that led you back to Anderson, for those who don't know your path.
So I was lucky enough at age 23 to become a head coach and go out east and create a program. 6 years, 2 conference titles, 2 playoff appearances, 5 straight conference players of the year. I was just really lucky to be able to do that at such a young age. And then 1 year in the GMC, and this is a job that I've always wanted, a dream job. And I think people understand that, meeting me and who I am.
Now, were you here when the team won the state championship and then they finished second the next year?
I was on the state runner-up. I was a head freshman coach. Okay. I coached Coach Vale. Nick Mason, the clip that you had on there, was one of the best competitors I've ever been around.
Very good. Well, what was the biggest challenge when you came in here? There's been pretty much the same coaching staff for 15 years or so. What was the biggest challenge when you came in?
I think the biggest change that the expectation of what I believe in is a little different than what was expected before. You know, how we go to work and what hard work actually is. And I think that's the hardest expectation. If you ask the kids of what I expect on a daily basis, the preparation, the focus, but hanging out with each other. I think our team chemistry is awesome right now.
Very good. Now, how long did it take the kids to start buying into the new system?
I'll be honest with you. From day one, these kids haven't questioned what we ask them to do because it's totally different. You know, we play tag, we play games, and we play keep away, and there's no more agility bags or running gassers. So I truly believe in what we do because it's worked. It's a plan that I've created with Coach Schmidt and Coach Standard, the 2 top assistants, and I really feel good about what we're trying to do.
Let's talk a little bit about your team this year. How many seniors, juniors, freshmen? Talk a little bit from top to bottom.
We go 13 seniors, and they're the captains of the team. I don't really, talk about much juniors and sophomores on nights like this because it's all about them. And the 2016 season, it's all about them. And I think with them, they're going to lead us to a better place.
Talk a little bit about when you come into camp. There's some guys that you first look at that you're not real sure or has there been any surprises for you so far this year?
I think the surprises is how hungry these kids are and what they want out of each position coach, and I think that's the biggest difference of how our kids interact with their position coaches. And we put a great bunch of coaches that are mentors, and our kids love hanging out with our assistant coaches, and I think that's the biggest difference for me. But it was a challenge at first to get our coaches out of their comfort zone, but to get our kids out of comfort zone, and I think our parents to get them out of the comfort zone to make sure they're talking to position coaches and really believing in what we're trying to do.
What have you learned so far about your team? Is your strength, your weakness? Is it, what do you think you've got that is probably your strength?
I think the strength is our team chemistry. I really truly believe that our guys have came together over the last couple of months and play and practice with a chip on their shoulder. I think the one thing we need to improve upon is just game experience, being able to overcome adversity, but that over time that overcomes, with seniors stepping up and making plays rather than waiting for a play to happen.
Let's talk a little bit about some of your seniors here. We got some of these guys that are in attendance here tonight. You got Dylan Browning, Kyle Buckley, Austin, Husselman, Cole Kane, Sammy Chowdhury, Sonny Chowdhury. All these guys are here. Some of these seniors, talk a little bit about them.
I think, I'll start with our O-line. I think Dylan and Sean do a great job of leading our O-line because we're so young. And you talk about offensive guys. It's Jake Newton, Sean, and Dylan with the rest of the young group being able to lead not only in preparation but in focus. And I'm just very happy with the way Dylan and Sean act and what they care about. I'm excited to get in that circle before we start the game and see where their eyes are at and how crazy they're going to be on a Friday night. And, Jake Newton's the total opposite of those two. He just goes around and does his business. And I think Jake Newton being a three-sport athlete has helped us just of what we're trying to accomplish. And then you look at their defense, our D-line, it's going to be much improved. And our linebackers, Harrison and Kyle Buckley, and then Sammy and Sonny and the rest of the crew. They put a lot of hard work of how much extra time they put in. I think our defense is going to be able to play downhill, and I think our biggest thing is not to allow big plays, and that group is going to be able to solidify that for us.
Well, one thing that we all know is that you're an offensive-minded coach. You got a good defensive coordinator, Nick Schmidt. All the kids are loving him. Talk a little bit about your defense.
I think Nick Schmidt is a future head coach. I truly believe he's the head coach of the defense. If you ask those guys, they probably see Schmidt a lot more than me. But I think it's a good yin-yang for us, and I'm fine with the way he's working out with our kids. But when you look at our defense of what we're trying to do, keep it simple and let those guys keep doing the same thing over and over. And I always feel like mastering the boredom's a lot better than doing a lot of different stuff and zone blitzing and that crazy stuff. It's just not us. It's not who we're going to be. And if we get our kids to play fast and tackle people in space, well, we'll be okay this year.
Good deal. Let's talk about the scrimmages. You recently had the black and orange scrimmage. How did that go?
The orange and black scrimmage was awesome. I think the biggest thing I saw was being able to get our inexperienced kids, Greg, to play in front of people. When we get people in front of the stands, it kind of changes how people play and how they work out. And I love when people come to watch us practice because I think in some people's eyes, well, everybody gets to see what we do. I don't care what other people do. I care about what we do and how we work. Orange and black for me, I think it was a great gauge of where we're at because defensively led us some big plays. Offensively, we didn't execute like we should have. And we looked at the tape, and I think our coaches did a great job of getting really specific of what we need to do to instruct our kids.
Good deal. Now, tomorrow night you got a scrimmage against Wyoming, is that correct?
Northwest,
okay. I imagine the kids are ready to hit somebody besides themselves, right?
I'm very interested to see, and I told the kids after practice tonight, Greg, about how we're going to be. First time opportunity to show me what they could do against another color. And I think that's the biggest thing is that when we hit another color, what's it going to be like? Because there's going to be a turnover, an adverse situation tomorrow night. Are we going to fall back into what we did before, or are we going to fall back into what we trained them? And I think it's all depends on how our coaches react and how our seniors react tomorrow night of staying with our beliefs and knowing that we're going to overcome adversity throughout this whole season.
I know one thing, if you listen to a lot of the kids in the interviews that we had, that they're all talking about last year was last year, and the things that happened to them, they're just going to let that go now. And so that's a good thing that you've got these kids now forgetting about that, and now they're focusing in on this year.
And I think that was the biggest thing that I look at my situation, Dan, and there's a big difference in that. Things in the past, I had the best learning experience of my life last year, and so did these kids. I learned from it. We got to move on. They learned from it. We're both going to coach and play with a little chip on the shoulder because of questions of what people think of how we do things and what we do.
Hey, can we talk about the league a little bit? I know you're in another league last year. Who are the big teams that you're looking forward to playing this year?
Greg, I'll be honest with you. I think the biggest thing is I've told the kids, Fenwick, game 1, let's just play it out and see how that happens. But when we come home for week 2, it's going to be a sellout crowd because that's my goal. I think our kids deserve that, and I'm excited to play the green team down the street and get back to where we should be in the King of the Hill.
Good deal.
I mean, it's got to be exciting. You got a lot of your guys here coming in here. You got a lot of the fans. You got coaches, everything in here, and it's a neat thing. We've never done this before, so it's pretty cool to come here to an environment like this tonight.
I think it's the first time where the Anderson High School football community has been back together. You look at the great years in the early 90s, early 2000s, you think what Anderson football represented a whole community, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to represent Forest Hills. We're going to represent our community, and because we want to be back on the top. And these are the things that make us get back to on top, not only the King of the Hill, but top of the ECC and back to a state playoff appearance.
We're going to try to play something. I know that we got a lot of. I don't know if any of these kids are going to come up here and talk or not. I have no idea. We'll try to get them up here, get some of your coaches. But I wanted to play a couple things for the kids to let them listen. I've got 3 guys that talked about Anderson High School football. One's Ben Osborne. He's a coach at New Richmond, offensive coordinator. You got Daniel Rod and John Runk. So if these guys can listen and hear what it means to those guys to be an Anderson Redskins, so I'm going to play this and let these guys hear it.
Okay. Most of the guys that I talk to when I ask them about Anderson and all that stuff, we try to get them to get, obviously we know the program's changed hands right now with Jeff, and Jeff did a great job getting a state championship. But talk a little bit to the kids present now. It might be a little bit hard now that you're at New Richmond. But a lot of the guys that I've talked to just openly just have talked about what it means and maybe and then tell those kids what the program, how right now we're talking and what the program means to us, and maybe that'll give those kids some incentive to keep that program going in the right direction.
Yeah, it's just a tradition. It's understanding the guys that came before you and what it means to put that helmet on, what those Redskins on the side of that helmet truly mean, and what has taken place to have people around the city see that and know that's Anderson, that's Anderson's helmet. I mean, it took time. It took Coach Siriano years to get it going, and Jeff did a good job, and I hope Evan does a great job with it as well, kind of getting it back on track. But it means something. Putting that helmet on means something. You're not just a football player. You're an Anderson Redskin, and you got to understand that that tradition doesn't die. It continues regardless of the struggles that have taken place. Us old guys, so to speak, we keep up with it. We watch it, and we smile when you win, and we cringe, and it breaks our heart when you guys lose. So, I mean, it means something. Right. I've got a flag hanging up in my basement still, and it's my son. Hopefully, will play for him someday because we live in the district. And, it's a big deal. Yeah. It really is.
One last thing, we'll wrap this up, is talk a little bit about, we've been trying to ask some of the guys, I just interviewed Ben Osborne a couple days ago, and talk a little bit about the kids now that are playing, and we're trying to let them understand, you've pretty much said it in all this, but kind of if you had a word for them to let them know what this program means, like you just said, you were playing, you didn't realize until you got out what it meant. What would you have for any advice for these kids that are playing currently right now?
Honestly, pride in the fact that you've been given the God-given talent ability to be able to come out here and play the game on an everyday basis. Pride in the fact that there were countless people before you that came through this program, that put on the jersey, went through lifting, went through 2 days, went through camp, all that stuff. in order to move the program in a forward direction rather than a backwards direction. And I think over a long stretch of time, we had team after team after team that went to battle with that mindset. And that's why the program was able to advance to where it was. And we were a product of teams before us, and that's how it works. Is whoever you are now, you were because of who you were before that. And I think if I had any advice for the kids now, I would say go back and look through the last 20 years of Anderson football. Look through all the teams, look at all the rosters, all the success they've had, whatever, and dig in deep and do whatever you can personally to get back to that. Because if you can do that individually and personally, collectively as a whole, that will get it back. And all you got to do is look up on the board right there by the weight room just to see the big banners. Everybody thinks that is out of the realm now, like the realm of possibility for Anderson to accomplish that. It's not. If we were able to accomplish it, they can accomplish it. We never thought we were picked to be 5-5 my junior year. I remember reading through the newspapers; they didn't think anything of us. We took that personally. I mean, everybody talks about East Side being soft, having no toughness. It doesn't matter, East Side, West Side. All that matters is trying to do as best as you possibly can, not just for yourself, but for who is next to you wearing that jersey, who is in the stands there supporting you, and who has come before you.
You know, the important things are what they can do to see the passion that you have, I have, and all these guys have played. What would you say to your, to this team now, and how important Anderson High School football was to you?
I would start with the tradition of the program is something that always meant a lot to me when I was playing, and still continues to mean a lot. And I think sometimes when you're in high school, you have a tendency to only focus on the guys in the room and focus on the guys in the team and focus on your coaches, the guys who are, in front of you on a daily basis. And I think it's worth, not necessarily every day, but, one day when you go home after you have a long workout, you're kind of thinking about, what's going on. It's worth giving some thought to all the guys that put on the helmet before you and played in big games before you and won big games before you. And I think sharing in that experience with other people is oftentimes empowering. And, I would encourage those guys to really, I remember going out of the locker room and running down the stairs for the tunnel time. That was like one of the coolest things that I thought at the time. Even more so, cooler than some parts of the game, hitting the tradition sign, doing that stuff. That stuff meant a lot to me. And I think, when I went out on the field, I recognized the importance of the tradition of the program, and, the torch that I was carrying, was a lot bigger than me and a lot bigger than the team. And I would just continue to remember that and kind of, think about when you put on the helmet and you're carrying the football, you are carrying it for the, 100 guys on the sidelines, but you're also carrying it for all the alumni that are, that are still following it, like you and I.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think having that perspective is important. And second, I would just tell them that, like I said, we were not short on confidence, and, I think it can be a little bit of a handful for the coaches sometimes, but I would approach every game and take the field with that confidence, because ultimately I think that gives you a huge edge. And you should go out there every Friday night in the stadium and be pumped up about going and showing out in front of all your peers and all the people in the community, and have confidence when you're doing it. And ultimately, I think that's an edge that you get that's going to help take you over the top.
All right, we're back here at Butterbees, and we got Coach Matt Standard joining us here. And Matt, I know you and I talked a little bit before, but talk a little bit about the kids and the mentality you had last year. Guys were kind of running the football a little bit. You had that mentality. Now you guys are kind of like a high face. We got to move. Talk a little bit about what you have to do with those offensive linemen.
It's been a big change, but it's been awesome. They are a great group of guys. They're awesome to coach. What Coach Dreyer has done when he came in is the initial change started in the weight room. And our weight program is an up-tempo lifting style to get the kids conditioned and ready to go for the play in the field. And the offensive linemen are just that kind of group. They love to get in the weight room and lift, and their attendance is fantastic. And they get on the field and they just play with phenomenal effort. And they just go. And they're kind of the group that can get the offense going. And I know the skill guys will say it's them, but the O-linemen, they carry that like pride with them that they want to be the guys that kind of get it going. And so they love the idea of going fast and getting up there. And I just said today, like my neck hurts from watching the ball fly through the air in practice every day. But the linemen are awesome. They love the system. They like working together, and it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot different conditioning too, isn't it?
It is. It's completely different. Like people think that it's like a finesse, like good-looking offense and all that, but it's a ton of hard work, and there's really no way around that. Like they're in lifting weights, and they're big, and they're strong, and they're agile, and they can move, and they communicate really well with each other, and they've come a long way. And it's been very exciting. It's been fun to coach for me. I've enjoyed it.
Coach, the tradition of Redskin football, especially in the last 15 years or so, do these offensive linemen know that there are 2 Redskins playing in the NFL on offensive line right now?
Yeah, they know it. And we had Greg Mans came to practice one day. He came into town before the Houston Texans camp and spoke to our players, and it was a great experience for them to see him come in and talk about college and talk about high school and how hard he worked and all the fundamentals he took with him. And he talked about not playing with any regrets. Give it everything that you have every day in practice and every game, because you never know when it might be your last play. And, and Andrew Norwell obviously had tremendous success in the NFL. And so those are 2 great guys to look up to with what you can do coming out of this program if you just work hard and having some genetic gifts helps.
Yep, it helps a lot.
Yeah. A lot of the guys that we talk to, they all say the same thing: is don't have any regrets. Live at the moment, do what you got to do. And I don't think a lot of, me included, you don't realize that until you're out of high school or until you got something else going on.
Yeah, and I think Coach Dreyer does a great job with bringing college players in and former players and older guys to talk to them about that. They're a little closer to their age than maybe we are. And I think they listen to those guys a lot. Like Kevin Rogers was in, talking about his experience at the University of Buffalo and then what he would have done differently in high school. And, they see that and they are really absorbing that input, and they're responding really well. We've got two senior leaders, Dylan Browning and Sean McCafferty, that have just been fantastic and put everybody else on their back, the young guys, and they're coaching them, and they're like assistant coaches for me on the field. They're terrific.
Well, why don't you talk about that real quick? Talk about the line from tackle to tackle. Who do you got there?
So we got Dylan Browning as our left tackle and Sean McCafferty our right tackle. Those are our 2 seniors, and those guys have been phenomenal in the weight room, in the locker room, on the field. They're great. We're lucky to return Nate Wilkins at center. So he played for us last year. He's a great athlete. He plays basketball, and he's a hard worker. And right now I've been running with 2 sophomores at guard. We've got Kevin Stone at guard, and we've got Zeke Krell at guard. So, but those 2 sophomores are really they've been getting after it, and they've been really playing their tails off. And so, what's happened is they're between these seniors and the junior that have all this experience, and their levels rising. And we've got the guys behind them, the other sophomores, that are really pushing everybody because they want to get on the field too with those guys. And so it's a really tight-knit group. They are all sitting together over there, and they all hang out together in the locker room, and they all talk, and we all lift together in the same lifting group, and so they spend a lot of time together.
Will we see some of these guys playing both ways?
No. No. As fast as we go, that's really hard to do.
Good.
So
they're just trying to get out there and get set for the next play.
And you've had some guys, as we've talked, that were on the offensive line last year, now have moved over to the defense side of football.
Yeah, we had some of those guys too. Like Trent Rogers was an O-lineman for us last year and played some defense. Now he's over on the defensive line, and so those guys have taken that transition really well. They know that it's a big part of our team's success is to have both sides of the ball be really good, and line plays where it all begins. And so they've really bought into the whole system, and they love it. Practice is extremely competitive, and it's awesome.
Think you got any guys here that any seniors that want to come up and talk?
Oh, absolutely. Sean McCafferty would love to come up.
He loves to talk.
He loves to talk.
Yeah. We'll get him up here.
He's been a great leader for us, and Dylan Browning he's here too.
All right, we'll get one of those guys up here. Sean, you want to come on up? All right, thanks, Matt. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Matt Stanger, everybody, give him a hand.
Thank you very much.
All right, is that going to fit you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's good.
Can you hear me? Put that up there a little bit.
All right.
You're becoming a seasoned pro at this. You know that.
Yeah, I am.
Do you like talking or not?
I love talking. I talk all day.
All right, we'll just talk a little. We've probably pretty much talked about the same things. We've had a couple interviews now, but talk a little bit about all your guys, the guys that you play with, and like they were saying, how tight-knit of a group you guys are.
Yeah, so I play on the offensive line, and that's like the tightest group that I think we have on the team. We're all good friends, and we all hang out outside, and we all outside of football at least, and we all hang out during football and everything, and we're all like each other's best friends. And then
Offense, defense, everybody, or just
everyone's each other's best friends. I don't think there's any cliques this year. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about anybody being excluded. Even sophomores, hang out with sophomores as senior. Something I haven't seen since probably my sophomore year, which is it's a really good thing to see.
How are you doing condition-wise right now?
God, it's pretty constant. Everyone looks at our practice. They're like, "Oh, you don't run sprints or anything." It's like, yeah, but we do run sprints. We gotta get up to the ball and snap the ball. And he starts counting down, then we get scared and snap the ball. Coach Pitzer yells at us too, and then. So our conditioning is just all in practice. We go full go, seniors versus seniors, upperclassmen versus upperclassmen. You don't get a break, you don't get plays off. You're never playing at someone that's not at an elite level. So that's definitely a step up from last year.
Sean, what's the first thing that impressed you when you met Coach Dreyer for the first time, and what got you excited about the season?
The first thing that impressed me when I got to meet with Coach Dreyer was one of the first things he said to me was, I'm going to make sure you seniors have the best season possible. This isn't he said, we're not changing anything. This isn't a season where it's okay to go 3-7. This is a season where we want to win. Right now, this season, because he said now is probably one of the best times we have to do it right now. So we don't get another chance, and this could be a big year for us, and that's what he said.
What did you play last year when we played Bishop Fenwick? Were you in there?
I was out with a concussion.
Okay. So this will be your first chance to play against them.
It will. I'm looking forward to it, to get a little bit of revenge. They didn't get to play me this last year, so I get to play them this year.
Do you take a little bit of a senior leadership role with some of the underclassmen and some of the younger guys?
I definitely try to. If I see an underclassman struggling with a concept on the offensive line, I definitely try to come up and coach them, try to give them just the little tips and little pointers that I've caught. Coach Stanyard obviously does a great job coaching all of us. He's coached me up since my sophomore year into player I am today, and I owe him everything. And then obviously I pick up things at college camps I go to, and I try to instill all that into practices.
Hey, do you got any other your teammates that you want to nominate that you think might want to come up here and give a little bit of a talk? Maybe you think any of them will come up here, or do you think they're going to be too shy? They're too eaten.
I think Kyle Buckley would do a great job up here.
Kyle Buckley, want to come on up here?
Come on up, Kyle.
He's been here before.
All right,
Kyle,
Kyle will be up here.
Kyle.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Sean. Kyle Buckley, everybody.
Kyle, how you doing, buddy?
Good, nice to meet you.
Hey, well, if you remember,
We met 5 years ago.
when you were in 8th grade. If you remember that, you were on with us in 8th grade with the Nagel group with Sammy and
Dill
and Sonny. Remember?
No, it was
Dylan?
Sammy and Dylan and
Yeah, it was Sammy and Dylan.
Yeah. So that was a long time ago. You guys have definitely changed since that time.
Not really. I've only grown half an inch. I haven't changed too much, trust me.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the season and everything that's going on. I think previously in the years before you've had some injuries, I believe.
Actually, yeah. Last year at the Bishop Fenwick game, I destroyed my shoulder and was out for the season.
Wow. So how is that going right now with your shoulder rehabbing it, and are you full of strength?
Yes. It's a complicated thing, but full go for me, no holding back.
And what position are you playing? Offense, defense? What do you?
I'll actually be playing like boundary safety, so more like a strong safety, so to speak.
Talk a little bit about Nick Schmidt, your defense coordinator.
Love him.
See?
When he's not yelling at us for walking around or anything, he's a great guy. He knows what he's doing. He's never said anything confusing. He's very straightforward with you. If you're doing it wrong, he's going to tell you, and then he's going to fix it.
Good deal. So you've played with a lot of these guys since you guys were like 11, 12 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, Sean McCafferty, Dylan. I've known them since I think Sean since I was 6 years old, and Dylan since I was 6. Sammy Chowdhury since I was like 8. They're really long-time friends, been playing football together for 10-plus years.
Well, you missed almost the whole year last year. I'm sure you can't wait to get out there this year and show what you can do.
I can't wait at all.
And how we were talking about the conditioning. How is that for you? Are you with the heat and everything going on? Are you guys doing okay?
I'm doing pretty okay because I played lacrosse. So
How did you?
A lot of running, just kind of transitioned.
All right, now I'm going to let you nominate somebody that you think that would want to do some talking up here too as well. You got anybody that wants to talk? You think any of your teammates? Harrison Hill?
Actually, no. Sammy Chowdhury is a big talker, so I'm going to bring in the other safety.
Sammy. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Kyle. All right, Sammy.
Sammy's another one we had on the show about 5 years ago when he was a little bit smaller.
Yeah. It's unbelievable that happened 5 years ago, that you guys are now back and we're in front of a live audience.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that long of a time, but back in Nagel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about, I know we've had the opportunity to talk a little bit about the position you're playing and what the difference is between last year and this year with you as far as defense goes.
Well, I'm playing safety this year. A big change from last year to this year was I played tailback and safety last year, so there was a lot more stuff to remember. I can sort of focus on my position this year. I mean, I'm in shape more this year than I am last year, but I was definitely on the field a lot more last year.
Yeah. Well, and also, so you're only, like he said, you're only going to go both ways. So you guys are just concentrated now. You're only concentrating on defense. How do you feel like as a whole your defense is doing? I
think our defense is doing really well. I think our offensive core is probably going to be the hardest offense to go against, and the fact that we play them every practice gets us in shape. And I think it prepares us for any other team that we're going to play this year.
Are you guys starting to look ready for getting ready for Fenwick?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What's the biggest difference to you between this summer and last summer, getting ready for the season?
It's a lot more hyped up this year. And everyone believes in the program this year. Like last year, I don't know, it's sort of lackadaisical. People weren't all in. This year, I mean, everyone's behind Dreyer. He's a great guy. Coach Schmidt, he's an awesome coordinator. Someone I can get behind.
Well, good.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and we're going to try to get, if Coach Schmidt is out there, does anybody see Coach Schmidt? Get Coach Schmidt up here. Try to get him up here to talk if we can. Sammy, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
Good luck this year.
Thanks, Sammy.
So we're going to have Coach Schmidt joining us here shortly. You lead off. All right, Coach Schmidt here joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Coach, how you doing?
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Welcome,
Thanks
Coach
for having
Schmidt.
me. Thank you.
So, Coach, you're the defensive coordinator, correct?
Correct, yes.
Very good. And give us a little bit about your background, your coaching background.
I've been coaching football now. Played 2 years in college and then came back and started coaching football at McNick under Steve Clowney. And at McNick, I had 3 years as the offensive coordinator there. Was fortunate enough to be offensive coordinator on the team that went to the state Final Four in 2010. Following that year, went over, was an offense coordinator for 5 years at Walnut Hills. Experienced some great success early on and then had some struggles towards the back end. But it was a great learning experience, understand what to do, what not to do, and how to handle certain situations. And it's really opened my opportunity to do things here at Anderson.
So how does this school, Anderson, how does the program compare to when you're at Walnut Hills? I mean,
or McNick.
McNick.
Either one.
Yeah. There's a lot of differences, but a lot of similarities in the kids. One major difference that I'm real excited about is the buy-in from these kids. Top to bottom, they're willing to do whatever we ask them, and it's been a very pleasing time. The stress level isn't as high right now with the kids buying in and being willing to do things. Very coachable, very understanding, willing to make adjustments from the get-go. One time you say something and they're able to pick up on it right away. Constantly telling the defense how smart of football players they are, how quickly they pick up on things, the adjustments, understanding their keys and so forth. And it's been very, very pleasing to witness and see, and really been a situation where I get to just kind of sit back right now and watch them develop, and it's been phenomenal these first couple weeks.
Now, you've had 2 scrimmages. How many scrimmages have you had?
Just
black and orange?
We've had the one, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you learn anything new about any of your defensive guys in the scrimmage?
We had some mistakes, but definitely seeing the enthusiasm, the excitement that they had, willingness to stick their nose in there and make some plays and do things was very nice. Some guys stuck out on film, which was good, and tomorrow night's going to be a great challenge being able to see them go against a different opponent. I kind of have a feeling that first series is going to have a lot of excitement. And I've said to the defensive staff, I think that our defensive players, as much as we move and we run around right now going against Coach Dreyer's offense, they might be looking going, come on, run a play, run a play. What are we going to do here?
Why are you taking so long? What's going on?
Yes, so that might be a little adjustment for them, but, it's going to be fun to see them go against a different team and go against different guys and see what they can really do. So
everybody's talked highly of you. All the coaches that I hear talk a lot about you. And when I've done a lot of the interviews, the kids really love you. And
Well,
you could really tell when they're on the field, and when I've interviewed them, they all say how much they love playing for you. And so I think it's a reflection of you as a coach, how well that they're going to play, and I think that's going to be a big difference with these kids is when they believe in their coach.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it is a big thing. And one thing that I've learned throughout my years of coaching is developing the relationships with kids. Early on, that wasn't the case for me always. Was a lot tougher on kids and not really developing the relationship and getting to know the kids and getting in and working with them and getting hands-on. And the kids here at Anderson have been very open to suggestions and very open to the relationship that we've developed. It's not where it should be, but it's definitely getting better, and it's something that's exciting right now. The kids have been very open and very willing to accept that change. So,
well, one thing too is that we haven't talked yet about was that you were on the offensive side of the football for a long time, and now you're going over to the defense. Is that your first game? Let's say you're ready for your first game. Is that going to be kind of nerve-wracking for you, like you see on Remember the Titans where he goes over and pukes?
Yeah.
Could that be something for you? I mean, you might be a little nervous for that first game.
There's going to be nerves, but I always have nerves going into a game. It's that anticipation of what's going to happen, not knowing exactly what's going to happen is going to be there. But to prepare, getting these kids prepared, I think we're going to be able to take care of a lot of things. Coming from the offensive side of the ball, I truly believe that I understand the game of football a lot better now going to the defensive side of the ball. I did not expect this transition to be as smooth as it is, and it's very welcoming, very fun, actually. A lot of times we're standing back there as coach, the defensive staff, and just watching things happen. Get to watch these guys go out and play fast and just have fun. I mean, it's different on the defensive side because it's the enthusiasm, the excitement, but those nerves on August 26th are definitely going to be there. But I think it's more anticipation to make sure that these kids are playing and they're ready to go, and I think that'll happen.
Talk a little bit about the kids that you have on the defense side of the football that we might see or hear a lot of this year.
Across the board, our guys are working hard. We're basing up at a 3-4 front, so we're really excited about our outside linebacker play and our linebacker play overall. At nose guard, Trent Rogers is doing a great job sustaining things. We have guys up front at the defensive line who are really working hard and buying in. Cole Kane coming back as a senior who is an all-league player. We've asked him to do some different things this year, and he's really buying into what we're doing. We really preach on being simple. The saying in football, keep it simple, stupid.
Those guys said it in the interview, so you got to love that.
Yeah. I've kind of always said that I'm the number one stupid guy, so I got to keep it simple for myself. So, but they've done a very good job of keeping it, understanding what we want to do and not doing things that we don't ask of them and making those adjustments. In the secondary, we have guys that are working hard. Good competition going on right now. Likewise, inside linebacker, some good competition going on. We have some depth that we're starting to create, which is a real good sign. So.
Do you got any of your players out there that that you want to try to bring up and talk? Any defensive guys that you want to get up here?
They all have great personalities, so it'd be tough for them to get up here and talk. So. Kyle Herms would be a great person to get up here and talk. I don't think there's been a day go by where he hasn't said a word, so he's pretty good at talking. I can only imagine what he says here, but Vanilla Ice lookalike will be pretty good.
Hey, Nick, thanks a lot. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you guys do.
Thank you. All right, that was Nick Schmidt, everybody, defensive coordinator for the Redskins. All right, Coach Schmidt just said we got Vanilla Ice up here. That's what he told me. So that's what he said. Yeah. So we got a Vanilla Ice up here. Ice baby, huh?
Yep.
We got to have him rap before he leaves here. Right? So are you related to Jared Herms?
No, I'm not related to Jared Herms. No.
But, we've interviewed before. Talk a little bit about how things are going for you, how conditioning's going, how everything's going on the defensive side of the football.
I mean, we're really conditioned. We don't do a lot of sprints or running. It's just going like everybody that's come up here has said. We're going against Dreyer's offense. We're running back and forth. I play boundary linebacker, so they're going to throw a screen across the field, run it 15 yards, and I'm sprinting to the ball in a dead sprint to go get, the receivers already lined up, line's already lined up, and I'm sprinting just over there just to get set. The play wasn't even on my side, and, that's 4 or 5 plays in a row trying to get set, so we're all conditioned on defense, offense, going against Dreyer's offense.
Now, did you play linebacker last year? Or what?
Yeah, so I played inside linebacker, every year at Anderson, and then now I'm outside linebacker.
So how is it different this year compared to last year?
So everything is a lot more high paced, but this year it's kind of like it's our defense. It's it's not a whole lot of stuff to remember. It's not trying to remember all these crazy calls. We got a few fundamental things that we're running and it works, and that's what we're doing right now.
And your number 3 there, is that the number that you're going to have for football as a linebacker?
Yeah, that is my number. So, me and a couple of my buddies, Sammy and Harry, I've been playing with them forever, so we did 1, 2, 3. So.
And so talk a little bit about Coach Schmidt.
I really like Coach Schmidt. He definitely knows what he's doing. He's really cool, He builds a good relationship with, a personal relationship with each and every one of his players. And he's a really cool guy to be around. He's super business when you hit the field, and then when you're off the field, you're up in meetings and stuff. He's a really cool guy. So I like being around Coach Schmidt.
Well, I know you were trying to eat over there, so we're going to go ahead and let you eat. We appreciate you taking, and before the night's over, we'll have you come up and do some Ice Baby.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man, thanks.
Thank you.
Kyle Herm's joining us. All right, if we got Coach Pitzer still here, if Coach Pitzer's here, come on up, Coach Pitzer. You want to start off?
He's coming. Huh?
You want to start off with Pitzer?
No, you go ahead.
Well, think of something to say. I'm ready. We got Coach Pitzer joining us now. Let's hear it for Coach Pitzer.
There he is.
Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right, let's first talk about this. This pretty awesome atmosphere here we got going on.
Amazing. This is great.
Great turnout. I tell you what.
Talk at you now with you. Last year, I know that you were signaling all those plays and everything like that last year. That's probably not, from what I understand. I don't know. Will you not be doing that?
No, so I'll be in the box this year for the first time.
So you get to see us?
Oh.
So I'll be right next to you guys.
All right,
I'll probably just hop
There has
over.
some earplugs in.
Yes.
Exactly. No, so I'll be in the box. Eyes in the sky or whatever they want to call it, and helping Evan out, helping the offensive staff out with coverages, looks, reads, etc.
Pretty much Evan's the man that calls it, though, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, he does. So he'll go rogue every once in a while and call what he wants, and you just got to sit back and let it ride. So.
And he puts a lot on a quarterback. Is that correct? On that offense?
He does. He does put a lot on the quarterback, and he puts a lot on receivers as well. I think that's something that's kind of unknown, but there's a lot of, I wouldn't say pressure, but there's a lot of stuff for receivers, and there's definitely a lot for the quarterback as far as reads, pre-snap, post-snap, things like that. So
I would think with this new offense, the conditioning is at an absolute premium compared to years past.
I would say it probably is. I mean, we snap the ball in practice, try to snap it every 10 to 12 seconds. So,
that's pretty quick.
We can, in a team period, 8 to 10 minutes, we can run 25, 30 plays pretty quickly.
Wow.
Up and down the field, run back, run them again. So
I'll get tired watching it.
So how did you think the black and orange scrimmage went?
I thought it was great. I thought we had a great turnout from our community and support from family members and everything, and then the cookout afterward was great. But overall, I think that day is really cool just with the media. Like the media day, I thought you guys did a really great job with interviewing our players, and overall it was a first-class, top-notch deal. So I thought it was awesome.
Hey, talk a little bit about that. You've been around, obviously, good, bad, up, down, all that. Now you're with Evan, new start, and you can see the excitement not only with the kids but us and the parents and everybody. So I think it's rubbing off on the kids. You can tell how the kids are and how excited they are talking about this season.
Right, absolutely. I think any time that we can get our kids in front of cameras and let them express how they feel and enough about how we feel,
Exactly.
They're the ones that do it. We facilitate, but on Friday nights it's them. So yeah, I think it's great. I think there's a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement, a lot of people wondering what's going on. But we just focus on what we do and us and as a team and how we operate. That's all that we can worry about, and then we'll see what happens August 26th.
I'll tell you what, people know me and Danny from doing the game so long, and everywhere I go, everybody's like, "What's up with the new coaching staff?" There's a much more renewed interest in Redskin football for this year, just from people we've talked with.
Yeah, well, I think that's the excitement that Evan has brought in. And I would say overall our communication with the community, our outreach with the community is much better than years past. I think overall we've done a really good job at creating a little bit of a culture change, a little bit of a shock to people, and kind of saying, hey, what are those guys doing over there? So, we'll see what happens.
We see that you're wide receiver and defensive back coach. Is that correct?
No, I don't do DBs.
You just do wide receiver? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I mistaked here, but that's
Yeah.
what. So you do wide receiver. So that's got to be very.
So kind of
you got a lot.
wide receivers and running backs. And one of our coaches, Brad Rhodes, he's a cop, so he's kind of in and out daily. Just depends, but he's obviously doing the right thing with being a cop. So
absolutely.
But yeah, so no, I'll coach from any day. Coach quarterbacks, coach running backs, coach receivers. Just depends. Our whole thing is we're not me guys. They're not my wide receivers. They're our wide receivers. They're our running backs, our quarterbacks. So coach everybody up and play fast and snap the ball. So
I'll tell you, one of the benchmarks of Redskin teams in the past is there's always great running. We're running back rich throughout the years. I mean, we can name 10 running backs right now that it stands out in our heads. We got some running backs for this year.
Absolutely. I mean, although we do throw the ball a lot, we're going to have some running backs that can run the ball and can catch the ball. Yeah. So don't be surprised if you see a running back running down through the middle of the field catching a touchdown pass.
So you're going to see basically more of a receiving, catching running back than a running back.
Yes, exactly.
Will you run the ball? I mean,
we will.
They say that with a smirk on his face.
I think we will. It depends.
Depends on the situation.
Depends on the situation. Depends on a lot of things. So, as long as we execute, and we will. Matt Stainer does a great job with the offensive line. So, hands down, probably the best offensive line coach in Cincinnati. So.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. You got any of your wide receivers out there that you want to bring up that are here? That you want to bring up?
Watt. Austin Watt.
All right. We're going to stop at 9:30. All right, there's Austin Watt joining us, wide receiver here for the Redskins. A very, very tall human being.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. We talked about it before. You moved from defensive back, free safety to wide receiver. How's that transition been for you?
It's going much better than it was expected. Helps know to what the defense wants to do, and you can break them off and change your route and make them think one thing and you'll do the other. Really helps.
Was that you in the scrimmage that got hurt? Was that you, or
yeah.
How you doing? Is it
it's fine. I'm doing all right.
Was it your leg, knee? What
it was my leg.
Was it? Everything's okay now?
Yep, everything's
okay, that's
right.
good.
You can play tomorrow?
Well, yeah.
All right. Good deal.
We've everybody's kind of talked about this. Talk a little bit about Coach Dreyer, and talk a little bit about all that. And it obviously shows the excitement with all these guys there and everybody that's here right now.
Yeah, it's great to have him. I mean, this probably wouldn't have happened with maybe if he didn't come here. All this publicity stuff.
Right.
This is brand new. We've never done this before. So that's great. And I mean, he's changing the program completely. So, yeah.
And another good thing is that you got family members now that can listen to our games. Well, we've been doing it for 25 years, but you can listen to it live. So you got grandparents out there that can listen to your games. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So again, big scrimmage tomorrow, and then after your scrimmage, you got one more scrimmage, and then you got to get ready for Fenwick. You guys ready for Fenwick?
Yeah, I think we'll be ready. We've got Wyoming after Northwest, and those will both. I think Wyoming will be maybe more of a challenge than Northwest, but they'll definitely get us ready for Fenwick. Definitely get us ready.
Austin, did you play wide receiver some other time earlier in your football career?
I have, but that was freshman year. It was kind of just between DB and wide receiver, so.
And it's going to be nice that you're so tall. They can just throw the ball onto you.
Definitely helps.
That'll be nice. But hopefully stay healthy, and thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
I think we're going to have one more guy. We're going to have Harrison Hill come on up here. Harrison, come on up here. Harrison, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. We've talked about this with everybody. Everybody knows. You and I have interviewed before.
Yes, sir.
Just talk about just the team chemistry and everything that you got going on with this team this year.
Team chemistry, I'd have to scale of 1 to 10. It'd be like a 12 or a 13. Team chemistry on this team is insane. Offensively, defensively, we're on different sides of the field and we're competing against each other. It's a pretty bit of a grind and we kind of hate each other to a sense. But once we get off the field, everybody's cool. Everybody's all happy-go-lucky, drinking jokes in the locker room and stuff like that. So it's really good to have that, and it's just good to have that competitive when you got one starting O, one starting D, and everybody's trying to find a spot, everybody's trying to be on the field fighting for a job. So it's good.
I asked the other guys this, but what was your first impression when you met Coach Dreyer for the first time?
First impression of Coach Dreyer was, man, this guy is something new. It's something new. It's fresh. It's good. It's fresh. It's fresh to the eye. You know, it's a good sight to see him. And with all his energy, like the first day of lifting, I know he had us doing all this crazy stuff. We were moving in we had to do 4 stations in 8 minutes each, and everybody's gassed and dying. He's like, come on, let's go. Like, you got to be up tempo. Like, if you guys want to win, you guys got to move quick. You know, so it was a little bit hard to grasp at first, but once we got a hold of it, we're on board, so we're ready to go.
Talk about that. You're a senior. Talk about that. We've talked with Sean about being a senior and being that leadership. Talk a little bit about the leadership that you guys need to provide for these underclassmen.
Yes, sir. The senior leadership on this team, I think, is really well. I think it's a little bit different from last year. I mean, last year was good, but I think it could have been better. This year, I think we really stepped our game up this year. Everybody's really on board. We're teaching the younger guys. They're following our lead. Everybody's looking up to us, and if everybody's got questions or anything like that, they can come see us after practice, or we're helping them, showing them plays on film. Even when we're watching film, we'll look at a young guy, and even the seniors learn from the young guys. We learn from their mistakes. Everybody learns from everybody's mistakes. That's one thing Coach Schmidt's been telling us a lot. Learn from your teammates' mistakes. Not just because you're a senior doesn't mean you can't make mistakes. You can make mistakes, and you can learn from a young guy. So it's always good to be the bigger man and know, hey, you can make a mistake too, and just learn from it.
What are you looking forward to most? Is it the first game, or what are you looking forward to most in this season?
Looking forward to most is just a winning season. We're just here to win. We're here to win. You know, Coach Dreyer, he told us hey, if you guys want to win, you follow my lead. I'll lead you down the Golden Gate. I'll take you. I'll show you what to do. So we're all bought in. Everybody's on board. Everybody's ready to win. It's go time. So tomorrow.
I'm sure you're ready for tomorrow, aren't you?
Oh, we're ready. Northwest don't know what's coming.
Harrison, we appreciate you taking the time. Good luck this year. Stay healthy.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's Harrison Hill joining us. Got any other coaches out there that want to join us up here? We got, is Brian Vale here? Brian Vale? Coach Evans? I don't care, anybody. Bring a coach up here. Who's this?
I don't know.
They're booing you? They're booing you. You got to help me out again. I forget. Chris Stewart joining us here. Hold on.
So it sounds like a boo. So.
No, see, I think they were booing you.
That's just going to be a hard time in practice.
Well, thanks for joining us. Talk a little bit about the path that you had to come here to Anderson.
Well, this will be my first year at Anderson. I was at Oak Hills last year with Coach Dreyer. Before that, I was the offensive coordinator at Wyoming High School, Division IV school. So,
who we're playing tomorrow night? No, it's not in Wyoming.
Next Thursday. So I'll get to see some of my former players. It'll be great. Those are great kids over there. Love those kids. I still teach over there, elementary.
That'll be neat.
So see a lot of those kids on a daily basis. But last year I got a chance to meet with Coach Dreyer before he took over at Oak Hills, and he invited me to come out and check out the staff. And he's been wonderful. He's taken care of me, my family. You know, the way he teaches the kids and the way he is with the coaching staffs, how he takes care of all those people. It's awesome. It's easy to make that transition over here to the east side of town.
I'll tell you what, this turnout tonight has got to get everybody pumped up for the season.
Oh, it's wonderful to see all these kids out here in their jerseys and their parents laughing, having a great time, getting excited. There's just so much energy right now. It translates from the way we practice, the way we are in the locker rooms, the meetings. The energy is so high all the time. It's so much fun. You see the kids laughing so much. It's just exciting to be around it all.
Well, you said you were at Wyoming. You were with them at Oak Hills. Is there any difference or anything that you see that is different at those schools compared to Anderson?
Just the way we do things on a daily basis. There's no structure. It's all adversity dealing with a practice at this time, whether it's change the practice around. It's not that set regimen, so if something goes wrong on a Friday night, like the bus is late by 20 minutes, no one's freaking out. It's just status quo. You go and you do your job and you get the job done.
You're coaching DBs, is that right?
Coaching DBs and special teams, yeah.
Special teams. Let's talk about special teams.
I knew that question was coming.
How much are we going to see of special teams?
We're going to hopefully see a lot of it. Hopefully a lot of kickoffs. Extra points and kickoffs.
Yeah.
So, but these guys out here have done a great job with special teams. You get limited amount of time to practice. Coach Dreyer's actually been good about that. Give me walkthroughs in between two-a-days. These kids, they're so smart when they do this stuff. When I ask for the punt team, or I don't know if I should say that word, but the kickoff.
mean?
The kickoff return team or the extra point team, these kids all know. There's the hop and the step. It's not a playoff for them. It's a chance to score or create a turnover or create a play to change the momentum of the game.
So that is correct. You don't have a punt team then, is that right?
Yeah, they say it's a 4-letter word, so we don't say it much around here.
I'll tell you what, the kickoff team could be so important. When we won the state championship, we had a kicker that kicked probably 85% of the kickoffs into the end zone.
And that's the biggest thing. We've done a good job. Campbell's done a great job doing the kickoffs early in the season so far. We're trying to put it in a certain spot, get the right guys down there to make the tackle so we can keep them inside that 20-yard line range if we can't get it into the end zone. Create that long field for them to go and drive down. The huge numbers when the team field position when it changes, especially with like a punt return or a punt block. The stats, you go look and see if you can create a play on one of those special teams, their chance to win the game increases tremendously.
Talk a little bit about your kids, defensive backs. Talk a little about them. Anybody sticking out for you so far?
They all have been. We have some great competition with Kyle Buckley over there. The Chowdhury twins have been there. Austin Martin, Jordan Burnham's been over there. Even the young guys, they're competing on a daily basis. So, if one guy's having a bad day, you know what? We're going to put the next guy in. We're going to play. That's the whole thing with this program is that no matter who's in there, we've got to be able to play and we've got to execute and do a great job. But those guys in the back end, they have so much stress on them with keeping that last wall and pass first guys and then coming up to help on the run. And the way we're doing things is simple yet complex so that they're doing a great job. And they're smart kids, so they've been able to kind of take ownership of the whole defense on the back end.
I imagine the DBs are getting a workout in practice against that offense.
Yes, and we've had to switch guys out. They're switching receivers out, so we're trying to rotate more guys in as well. And I tell you what, the amount of reps we get in a day, there can't be a kid out here that complains and says, well, I didn't get enough practice time. Yeah. There's kids in the city of Cincinnati that are wishing they got this much practice time. It's kind of like when you talk about Chip Kelly and his offense at Oregon. Those kids there, they go there because they're going to get a massive amount of reps. They're going to be at increased, in their ability.
But what's really neat, you just said Austin Martin. It's really neat for me to see. I know his dad, Mike, he played with my brother. And you got Max Cosman out there that his dad played Nate. It's really neat to see the guys that are coming along and their dads played at Anderson. It's really neat to see that.
Yeah, I'm sure for those dads to see their kids out here with his jerseys on and play and wear that and the Redskin pride is truly awesome for them.
Well, I'm sure you guys are looking forward to tomorrow.
Oh, I'm pumped. Get another team, another color, get after it.
There you go.
It's nice meeting you. Thanks for helping out.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a great night. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, I think we're going to be wrapping it up. Unless we got anybody else, Coach Dreyer probably ended here. If Coach Dreyer wants to come back up, and we'll call it a night here. Coach Dreyer wants to come up.
This is an incredible turnout. I tell you what, this is very exciting.
It really is a good turnout. Got anybody here, Coach Dreyer? Anybody else that want to talk? No? Who do we got?
I don't see him.
What? We're going to, yeah, soon. Yeah, we're going to. Okay. Hey, get Coach Dreyer. Get Coach Dreyer up here. Get Coach Dreyer up here real quick. All right, we're going to wrap this up here. We'll get Coach Dreyer's closing thoughts if he gets up here.
And while he's walking up here, just a reminder, all the games are live on the internet. You've got family or friends out of town that can't make it to a game. Listen to us on USBNsports.com. They're all live on the internet.
Hey, you guys, I don't know if you can hear that or not. I don't know if you guys know that these games are live on the internet. So if you got your parents out there, anybody wants to listen to these games, they're live on the internet. You go on USBNsports.com, you go on there and you can hear the games live. Games will also be tape delayed. And real quick, another thing that we're going to do this year is we're going to honor some some members that have either still living or recently deceased. And one of them is going to be Greg's dad, Bill Ellis. And we're also going to honor Joe Miller, and we're going to Bob Andrews, and we're going to do offense, defense, special teams players of the game, and also and Harry Andriadis too. So we got some guys that we're going to recognize. But we're walking back up here, Coach Dreyer. Coach, welcome back. You on?
Is he on?
Yes.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, thanks. Unbelievable. You had great turnout. Kids did a good job. Interviews. Coach did a good job. Got to be happy with our first show here tonight.
I'm very happy with our community and how we represent Anderson High School, and I think those little things add up to big things, and just being excited about our season and what our kids did and how much work they put in. I think that their effort pretty much reflects of how we're going to play and how we're going to showcase our school this year.
I'll tell you the thing, I'm excited about the whole thing, but hearing these kids, how they have bought completely into your system, it's truly exciting. I can't wait to see it.
It's a system that's a little bit different. It's a little bit radical, and I think you guys are just going to
scream and yell.
Scream, yell.
We scream anyway, but
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the way we're going to play on offense, you guys are going to say it's a little bit radical, and I'm excited to see what people say and people talk about us because, as you've seen in the past, that it's a little bit of hype around our program right now and our offense, and you're going to see a lot of guys catch the ball and just be excited, just like you were back in the early 2000s. A lot of people touching the ball, scoring touchdowns, and hopefully we're ready to go tomorrow night.
That's real quick what I was going to get to, and we'll end this here real quick, is what are you looking for in tomorrow night's scrimmage?
Tomorrow night's scrimmage is going to be a key. I think the biggest thing is that right when we start warming up to see our focus, our preparation, and then when we do the circle drill at the end of warm-ups, I just want to see something, some coaches say the fire in the eye. I just want to see our linemen have the crazy eyes and just make sure that they're ready to dominate the guy across from them. I think that's sometimes forgotten of all the research and everything, but as coaches and players, there's just something about when you compete, guys that step up their own game and how they play, and this whole process until you walk out on that field and you hear the clickety-clack, the smell of popcorn, you walk down those steps, and
absolutely,
there's a little different Redskin roar coming out this year.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what, I cannot wait for the season to begin, and the first week when we're on the road against Bishop Fenwick, hopefully we can get some revenge from last year when they beat us the first game, and then we come home, and what an atmosphere that's going to be to play at home against McNick.
Oh, it's going to be lights out, and I can't wait to see our kids playing a big game atmosphere for the first time in a long time. When you talk about that, these kids, I soon forget of the sellout crowds of when people saw the Redskin walking up and down the track dancing, the victory bell, everything that was bought into our tradition of how much it's going to be brought back, and the student section is going to be rocking. Just talking to the band today about what we're going to do and how the excitement's going to be back. People will be back to watch us play for sure, and I want, if it's your first experience to watch us play, I want you to leave that this is the most exciting team to watch in Cincinnati, and when you walk out, you're going to come back and definitely buy some more tickets.
Well, not only do we have this tonight, we're going to have a pregame show on the field for all the home games, and then we're also going to have two postgame shows, one here after the McNick game and then another one after the Harrison. See how it goes, but I think if it's any indication the way we had tonight, it's going to be pretty successful.
And that's the biggest thing, is that we're community driven. We're going to represent our community to the best of its ability, and our parents are doing a great job of representing us in a first-class way.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Great turnout, great thing we got going here, and we're looking forward to the season.
Yeah, we got to thank everybody here at Butterbees. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. We appreciate it. We'll do another show, and go Redskins.